Economic collapse news. Proof not shown on TV that stocks and the real estate market is confirmed big losses. Hey gang, this is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and today I'm going to show you proof. What they're not going to tell you on CNN, on NBC, on the radio. They're not going to tell you this on the Kramer show. They're not going to show you what I'm going to show you. And what I do at Mr. No Fluff is I take information that's very complex and I make it very, very simple so my students can see. Now, 2 weeks ago in our private group, 2 weeks ago in our private group in profit sharing coaching, I showed my students this visual that I'm going to show you, and this is why I'm saying we're having major losses to come, not only in America, but worldwide. And hold on to your seats. We're about to get started, okay? Now, what I'm going to show you right now is a visual that shows all the world money and markets in one location, okay? And what I want you to pay attention is this little dot right here, okay, represents $100 billion, okay? So let's go. Now, the amount of silver in the world is a little dot smaller than that $100 billion dot that I have. Now, if you look at the world currency, cryptocurrency, you can see that it's way smaller than the one dot, but you can see the different types. The yellow one is Bitcoin. The black one are the rest, like the rest of the shit coins, excuse my language, and the blue one's Ethereum, okay? So remember, this is all the money in the world, okay, in the markets. Now I want to show you this. Now you want to make sure you stick around because I'm showing you this just like I showed my students my profit sharing to make my point, which is going to be at the very end of this. But I'm laying the foundation so you see what's going on, okay? Now, the biggest companies right now in America, here's how much money they owe. You got Microsoft, you got, Warren Buffett, you got Facebook, you got the Amazons, you got the Apple, and you can see how much money these guys have, okay? And remember, each little cubicle or dot represents $100 billion. Now, you got the 50 richest people in the world. You can see that, those guys, if you add it up, is almost the size of a couple of these big companies. Then you got California's GDP, okay? And you can see how many billions of dollars that is. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Now you can look at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. Okay, guys, Federal Reserve balance sheets. You can see that their balance sheet is more money than if you add up the 50 richest people, if you add up the biggest companies, and if you add up the California, if you add it up. But this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting. Let me keep going down. Okay. Now let's go look at the currency. So this is the world currency. Okay, this is every country currency: China, Eurozone, the rest of the world, U.S., Japan. Now notice that all the currency, if you add it up, is it going to be the Federal Reserve balance sheet? And the Federal Reserve is only for America. It's not all over the world. They're not printing dollars for all over the world. But since the world currency reserve is the dollar, maybe they are printing for the whole world. But the point I'm trying to say is the Federal Reserve is in America. And if you look at the blocks of the United States versus the Federal Reserve, you can see that the U.S., money that's in the U.S., is way less, 4 times, 3 times less than the total debt balance the Federal Reserve have. Now it's going to get really interesting, so follow with me. These are alarming things, but not right now. At the very end, I'm going to show you, okay? Now let's move forward. Now you can see that this is all the gold in the world, okay, which kind of looks like the world currency in a sense, right? It could almost be equal, maybe a little bit more. And then you have central bankers, which what they owe. Then you have the jewelry, and then you have private investing and others. But take a look at the world currency in gold. You can see it, okay? Now let's look at the stock market, okay? Um, which gets pretty interesting. Now, the stock market of America is the biggest considered to anyone else. But this is what I call fake paper. Okay, so the fake paper And of course, the world currency, all it's fake paper too. But the shittier fake paper, the stocks, even outweighs the world currency. If you add up all just America, if you just add up China, Europe, Japan, all the countries, the value in the U.S. stock market, this fake, what I call it, is way higher than the whole gold or the whole world currency. All the countries in the world add up. So think about what I just said, guys. Okay, um, now which makes us feel like we're rich because through our equities and our stocks to our 401ks, etc. But now let's keep going. Okay, now what I want to show you is now the global money supply. Okay, now the stuff in the green and the stuff in the black are the total global money supply. Okay, now let's keep going real quick. This is even gets more interesting. Now here's a global debt. Okay, please take a look at that. Um, this is how much debt there is in the world, but here's the world's currency. You can see. Okay, here's the average corporation, one of the biggest corporations like Amazon or Facebook, how much they make, and look at the world debt, global debt. Okay, uh, and look at the global gold. Okay, this is how much gold there is in the world, and look at how much debt there is. Okay, so these are where it starts getting even more scary. Okay, now this is not even where I'm talking about. Now, before we go further into the main topic of what I'm going to get into, I want to also show you the global real estate. Now, on the left-hand side, you see the commercial, okay, and on the right-hand side, you see agriculture, and on the black, you see where's residential. Then many people are asking, Mike, why do you do residential? Well, because majority of you can see here is residential versus commercial. So I like residential because there's a lot more motivated sellers out there. There's more buyers out there because just by the sheer numbers of it, you can see. But this is just the basic global real estate you can take a look at. Now, here's what gets really, really, really interesting. And this is why I say it's confirmed that we're going to have a stock market crash. It's confirmed that we're going to have a real estate crash. And the reason I say that is what's about to come next, which is called derivatives. All right, guys, derivatives is what's going to make this one of the biggest crashes in the history of like at least America, and if not the world. It's going to surpass, in my opinion, the Great Depression, or it's going to be one of the causes for the next one, because this is where it gets global and everyone is indebted to everyone. And the problem is that let's look at the derivatives, guys. Okay, so before we look at the derivatives, I want to show you how much world currency there is. This is all the money we have. If you look at gold, real money, this is all the world money there is. If you do look at fiat, this is where it is. Okay, now let's look at the derivatives. Okay, here we go. Here's the derivatives, guys. Here we go. Yep, I'm not saying anything because there's so much derivatives, guys. Okay, so let's go look at this one more time. You can see quickly that this is why I'm saying there's going to be a massive, massive, massive default, because these derivatives is things that are very, very complex. I hardly understand them. Many even people with PhDs hardly understand it, and the bankers are betting our savings, our 401s, our pensions, or majority of people in America. Um, they're bidding not only in America and other countries, any country that's subscribed to a central banker, subscribed to fractional reserve lending, subscribed to all this gamble, then they're all going to be in trouble, because once one bank, for example, in Germany, they're already doing negative bonds. So if you're going to buy into or invest into government debt bonds, you're going to get less money than, instead of getting any money, you're gonna get less than what you put into it. So people buy stocks, people buy bonds to get a return on their investment. You're not gonna get that. You're not even gonna get your own principal back. You're gonna get your principal minus whatever the negative interest is. And this is what's happening right now. Same thing is happening in Denmark. I brought to you guys on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago that they're doing negative mortgages, where if you borrow money to buy a house, the bank's going to pay you. So why are they doing this? Why is the interest rate of one of the world's biggest economies so low? Okay, why does it keep going down now? Why is it countries, some of the powerfulest countries like Germany that makes Mercedes, that makes Beamers, I mean, everyone wants German-made car, German-made goods. Why are they going to negative amortization and negative interest rates? Okay, because what's happening with derivatives and them printing so much money and fractional reserve, etc. But this is what's really, really scary, because when Germany's bank, Deutsche Bank, goes under, well, these derivatives are bets, and who are the people holding the bets? Well, some banks in America probably like, well, they don't disclose this information, they don't show this information, so it's very hard to understand. Uh, and so once the derivatives bust, it's going to take out the whole economy in all the countries, because what it is the derivatives, these ugly bets, overcome every money out there, every real estate out there, like it goes takes over all the real estate, takes over the global money. It takes all the stocks, all the gold, all the currency, the Federal Reserve. I mean, the Federal Reserve cannot bail this out. This is how much they have on their balance sheets, and they have to print out so much. Now, if they have to print out so much, and all central bankers have to print out for so much, then that's definitely going to cause massive inflation. This is what's going to cause massive civil unrest. And I've told you guys before that two things going to happen. Just to simplify, we're going to have civil unrest, like we saw in France with um, yellow vest jackets. We've seen it in Hong Kong. You're going to have things are getting expensive. Hong Kong is very, very expensive. So we're going to have civil unrest. And why are we going to have civil unrest? Because some central bankers, if not all of them, have to print out so much money for these derivatives, they're going to be defaulted, that the derivative monetary amount is so much more than all real estate, all companies, all richest people in the world, all the gold, all the silver, all the cryptos. It's just going to be a blackout. This is what's called a nuclear economic blast. Okay, and this is what I've been hollering about. This is what I've been shouting about since 2016. I told you guys 2016 real estate was the worst time to get into it. Okay, and I said I'm getting into gold. Now you can see gold's gone up. Since 2016 it was $1,100. Today is over $1,500. So I'm ringing the bell for anyone that's listening. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. I'm just a refugee to America. Okay, and but this is what I'm seeing. This is what my opinion is, and so far I've been right. I've been right on the gold. I've been right on the real estate. I've been right on the crash. And last crash, 2006 fourth quarter, I saw the crash coming. Everyone says, well, the market hit in 2018. I'm sorry, 2008. Well, it really happened in 2006 fourth quarter. So I was right in the last economic crash, and it looks like I'm nailed it on the top on this economic crash. It's hard to say exactly when it's going to be here, but I can look. I have my ear on the heartbeat of the streets, and I can see people struggling. I can see people have to have two jobs, but they have college degrees. I can see that when people go to the gas station, they're only putting $20 in. I can see that there's no affordable homes, and every home they're building are very, very expensive, very, very big, because home builders can't make money because they got to pay so much taxes, so much regulation, so much red tape, or inspections, and all this crap, right? The bankers got to make more money. They can, they're just thieving people. So we're coming up to a time that, people are waiting for the government to bail them out, and they think they can. But the the problem is that the amount of money that's owed to so many different people overcomes what the government can print, what the Federal Reserve can print. It doesn't matter what country you're in, and there's going to be two solutions. We're going to have a major, major depression, black economy, till we figure out a better solution like Bitcoin or gold or whatever, and get away from this easy debt, etc. Or we're going to have civil unrest all over the world, from Germany to Australia to Canada to America. I mean, people are getting taxed, people are not getting so much stuff. Inflation is happening. The rich are getting richer. There's a big separation from the working class, the middle class, and the ultra rich. And, you know, doesn't look like it's going a good place. Now we have a president in place that is helping us accelerate this, which is, I'm pretty happy about that, okay? Because this is the time for me to make money. And that's why I told you guys in 2016 I was getting into gold and not real estate, and gold's gone up, and then I'm going to get into real estate. In 2019, I told you guys, 2019 for me, no financial advice or anything, 2019 is the best time to get in real estate for me because there's a typhoon of sellers that are already here. I already see them. They're motivated. And here's the thing, guys. A lot of these sellers, it's not like the same sellers of last time where they had subprime, where you have people that were not very, very educated, even though there were people that were very educated that got suckered into arms and adjustables, etc. This time I'm seeing very, very successful people that cannot sell their homes because they have, expensive homes. And the very first thing that people do that are sophisticated, or, they have money, they realize that, hey, this is a time to cut spending because the economy is about to collapse, or it's cyclical. And that's when cash becomes king. That's why I brought to you guys the Warren Buffett story a couple of days ago, how he's liquidating all of his fake stocks into fake fiat because he knows that real estate stocks businesses are going to be 40 to 60%. He's liquidating to 50% cash. So why? Because everyone knows cash is king, just like myself. And you can buy all kinds of real estate properties, businesses, stocks at a deep discount. And better yet, in real estate, there's going to be a lot of sellers, what I call subject to heaven, that are willing to just let me take over their monthly payments because they're upside down, or they lost their job, or they're fighting with their wives and husbands because they lost their savings or 401s or jobs.
If you're interested in buying properties at a deep discount because of the economic crash, if you're interested in becoming a landlord, if you're interested in fix and flipping, wholesaling, or if you're interested in having the seller be your bank, then you definitely need to join my profit sharing coaching. We meet every Saturday, and I teach you how to talk to these motivated sellers, how to find them, how to market to them, how to qualify them to make sure they're highly motivated so you don't waste your time. I show you how not to spend any money to find these motivated sellers. I show you how to negotiate, how to structure the deals. If you're interested in any of these, then you definitely need to join my profit sharing coaching. Whenever you cash checks, that's when I cash checks. Get more information about it, go to MrNoFluff.com. Again, MrNoFluff.com, and I'll see you this Saturday. By the way, you don't need to drive nowhere. We do it all through the comfort of your home, through your computer. See you then.